Hi. Did you want to come in and do it from this room?
What was that?
Did you want to do it from the other consultation room? Nobody's there. You don't have to wear your mask. Up to you. I don't mind, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. Do you think it'll be fine on my own computer? I was just nervous about that.
Always on your own computer. I'm using my MacBook right now. If I were to use the one here, I'd be black, like dark. You got me? Like the lighting is just not good.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I'm
no.
gonna pull it up on my own computer just to make sure, because when I did it before on the other event, my own computer was like acting stupid.
Oh, that was your old computer? I mean,
That
try
was
it. Yeah, try it out. Hi. So Keegan, just as a heads up, I let our other speakers
okay.
in the meantime. Tommy, what's up? It's been forever.
Long time, right?
Anthony, good to see you.
Hey, good afternoon.
Nick,
What's that?
good to see you. If you guys want to
Likewise, good to
introduce,
see you.
hi, if you want to introduce yourselves to each other, that'd be great.
What's up, guys? I'm Tommy. I'm the founder of Panthers for Recovery.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Anthony. I'm the current treasurer for Panthers for Recovery.
Hey, I'm Nick, and I'm a volunteer at the CDRI, where we have a SAMHSA funded group called Cody the Camel, and we do HIV testing and recruitment for students on campus. And I'm also a post-bac student at FIU.
Awesome, thank you. All right, so in a minute, I'll let everybody in. Just as a run through, I will grant Keegan, I'll give you co-host access just to have in the case anything happens on my end with freezing and stuff like that. We'll start 5 minutes after 3. Sorry, I blanked out. We'll start 5 minutes after 3. In the meantime, we'll all introduce ourselves. We'll welcome everybody. We'll ask them to do the eval. At 3:05, we will no longer let any students in. I will message them in the waiting room and let them know. And I'll be sharing my screen like I am now. So whenever you need me to go to the next slide, just let me know. Tommy, Anthony, when you need me to launch the poll, let me know. It's here so we can launch it. And that's it. Did you guys have any questions? How are you feeling? Good? Yeah, I see Sarah's back. Yeah, is she gonna be talking in any section, or how are you splitting that?
Yeah, so I'll do the first two slides, and Anthony will do the slides on healthier coping, and Sarah will end it off with the explanation about Panthers for Recovery and the meeting times and stuff like that.
Awesome. Okay, great. So I'm gonna so far we have 2 people. So I'll admit them. Hi, Sarah. Welcome. Good to see you again. Glad to have you. I'm gonna go ahead and start admitting students. We'll officially start at 3:05. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Happy St. Patrick's Day. What? Has anybody started celebrating? I did by wearing green.
I have a pair of green pants for tonight's festivities.
There you go. What are
We'll be on
tonight's
Zoom.
festivities?
We'll be on Zoom in a class for several hours.
That sounds like a lot of fun. So welcome. Same thing for everyone. So far, we're a small group. Please introduce yourselves in the chat. Let us know how you're celebrating St. Patrick's Day, aside from being with us, which I'm super excited about. And make sure to check in as well. Keegan, when you can you drop the check-in link in the chat, please? And if anybody wants to unmute themselves to introduce themselves, you can. Speakers, please introduce yourselves as well as we wait a couple of minutes before we get started.
Hi, everyone. How's it going? I'm one of the speakers today. My name is Nicholas Martin. I'm a volunteer at the CDRI and also a member of Cody the Camel, which is one of our SAMHSA funded projects. And I'm also a post-bac student here at FIU. So nice to meet everybody.
Hello, everybody. My name's Thomas Guerra. I'm the founder of Panthers for Recovery at FIU. Also, I am a person in long-term recovery. For me, that means I haven't had a drink or a drug since September 12th, 2014. And yeah, that's what all.
Hey, I'm Anthony, person in long-term recovery, and I am in the treasurer for Panthers Recovery.
Hi everyone, I'm Keegan McCarthy and I'm a student assistant with the Healthy Living Program.
Hey guys, my name is Sarah. I'm also a person in long-term recovery, the vice president of Panthers for Recovery. My sobriety is beginning August 2018, 3-year anniversary this year. Glad to be here. Happy St. Patty's Day.
We are so excited to have so many different people participating in today's event. I know you all love HLP, but I'm sure you got tired of seeing these beautiful faces. So you get to mix it up. And today you'll be learning from different, departments and student orgs. And again, we're here just educating and celebrating St. Patrick's Day this way, right? Providing you the tools that you can use and to make the decisions that you feel are best for you. So we'll get started in about 2 minutes, see if anybody else joins. In the meantime, feel free to share anything you want to share. How's your week been? I can't believe we're halfway through March already. The semester is halfway over pretty much too, right?
Yeah, just cross the halfway mark.
Yeah, that's intense. And then it'll be summer. And then it'll be fall again. And things will be back to normal.
Yeah, it's looking like it slowly but surely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually on campus now. It's been pretty fascinating. The past few days, I've made it back to campus, and
It's a
it's
nice
nice.
day too to be out there.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. All right, make sure you check in. go.fiu.edu/gotluckcheck-in. We make it kind of easy for everyone. Remember, that's part of qualifying and being eligible to receive the giveaway, which is a really neat black t-shirt, seeing double. By the way, this was an event that we had planned for last year. And it just goes to show you that a lot can change in a very short time. And we never got to execute it. So we're really excited to have this opportunity to talk about alcohol and other drugs on St. Patrick's Day. And it may not seem something traditional, or maybe that's not exactly what you want to be learning or listening to on a day like today. But our job is to serve you all and provide you the tools that you need to be successful and to be healthy and to live happy lives. So that's exactly what we're doing today. We're going to be celebrating St. Patrick's Day by getting educated. We're going to learn some facts about alcohol and other drugs. We're going to talk about how the pandemic has impacted alcohol and substance use. What are some healthier ways to cope and how to possibly safely drink or use drugs, right? We're going to get started with a little bit about alcohol. Keegan?
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about alcohol and answer the question that everyone wants to know: how much can they drink? So how much exactly is a drink? And for a lot of people, it's surprising. The amount of liquid in your glass or bottle doesn't necessarily meet that alcohol percentage. So this is an important fact to be aware of. First of all, 12 ounces of regular beer typically contains only 5% of alcohol. 5 ounces of wine typically contains about 12%. And 1.5 fluid ounces of liquor typically contains 40%. So these examples are just starting points for comparison, and it's important to know what is equivalent to a standard drink and always read the labels before you start drinking. So a little bit about the effects of alcohol. These vary greatly between people. Some are short-term, like poor motor control and sleepiness, whereas excessive alcohol use creates long-term effects like liver problems and trouble sleeping. But it's important to recognize, again, people react differently based on other factors like body size, whether or not you drank on a full or empty stomach, metabolism, and tolerance, to name a few. There are also different types of problem drinking. So heavy drinking, according to the CDC guidelines, is when women drink eight or more drinks per week and men drink 15 or more drinks per week. And of course, this goes back to understanding what is classified as one US standard drink. So understanding how many fluid ounces you're drinking and what the percentages are important in understanding how this might affect you. There's also binge drinking, which will be covered in the following slide, and alcoholism, which is when there's just a dependence on alcohol that has been developed and the individual has a physical or psychological compulsion to drink. So now we're gonna move on to the next slide and talk a little bit about binge drinking. So for a lot of people, drinking at college has become a common practice for students because it's seen as part of the experience. Everyone who lives on campus or goes away knows exactly what I'm talking about and they want to get involved. And unfortunately, they take part in what's called binge drinking, which is explained as consuming excessive amounts of alcohol in a short period of time. For a typical male adult, that is 5 or more drinks in under 2 hours. And for a female adult, that is 4 or more under 2 hours. With this practice, it can lead to consequences that can negatively affect academic performance, harm relationships, increase the chance for high-risk behaviors, and more importantly, negatively affect one's health, especially when binge drinking occurs on a daily or weekly basis. And this is just one type of drinking, but it's important to know the effects, the signs, and ways to prevent this type, like alternating alcohol with non-alcoholic drinks, drinking slower, making sure you plan prior to drinking, such as choosing a designated driver, setting a limit for yourself, and most importantly, educating yourself, which that's what you're all here for, educating yourself so you can drink safely and practice good methods. Now let's move on to talk about the most common drugs. So for many college students, as I said, drugs and alcohol are a way to get away from all the work. It's a way to ease tension, and without proper self-care practices like journaling, self-gratification, gratitude, and positive thinking, which you know we're all about at Healthy Living Program, intoxication is unfortunately an outlet for relaxing tension or releasing tension. In fact, 44.9, which I think is crazy, almost half of all students, full-time college students, partake in substance abuse annually. And that's why it's important to educate yourself and others on safe alcohol practices and drug awareness, because you want to be sure that what you're doing is safe and comfortable, and that your friends and family as well are understanding of what strategies can be used. So marijuana is one of the most common, of course. We probably all knew that, but it's used by 1/3 of all full-time college students at least once per year. That's a lot of people. And like I said, this is just a way for students to relieve stress and get away from all the work. Prescription pills like Adderall, cocaine, narcotics like heroin and morphine, and hallucinogens like LSD or PCP are also prevalent classifications of drugs used among students. And while they're used recreationally, they have very harmful side effects to be aware of. For example, LSD users might be pulled into a bad trip, and this could potentially manifest long-term disconnects from reality. So while people are understanding of these short-term effects like drowsiness, the bad trips, they don't necessarily realize that this could create long-lasting psychological problems. And again, narcotics can also lead to drowsiness and eventually respiratory depression. So it's important to be able to identify these effects when using drugs or drinking. And now let's move on to talk about what we're gonna do when we think about drinking and using. First of all, before drinking or using, it's important to firstly educate yourself. Learning the facts, knowing the possible harmful effects, and knowing what to do in the event something may go wrong, and knowing what your standard drink is are all critical steps in understanding how to safely enjoy yourself before making any decisions. It's not to say that drinking or using is the worst thing in the world, but it's important to do it safely and comfortably for yourself and for others. So secondly, it's important to be aware, knowing who you're with, the environment where you are, and all that allows you to remain safe and comfortable so that you have the necessary support if anything were to happen, because as I said, you never know. Everyone reacts differently to alcohol and drugs, and it's important to be mindful of that. Lastly, make a plan. That's one of the most important things. Be sure to find a designated driver or a safe way home so that you're never making those decisions where you're going to be in the front seat or in the passenger seat with somebody else that's drinking. You also need to set a limit on how much you want to drink before going out. Sometimes you can get carried away, but maybe put a limit or a cap when you know that at some point it becomes dangerous for yourself. Also prepare with your friends. It's best to already have an exit strategies planned, eat beforehand, and take something to stay hydrated safely so that you can freely enjoy yourself. And now we're going to move on to an activity. So let me go ahead and pull that up. So we're going to be playing Family Feud. And I'm going to take this away. So we're going to be playing Family Feud on alcohol and drug abuse. So let's get this started. I'm so excited. I love this game. If anyone is a trivia buff, I love, like, trivia is my life. Cash Cab, everything. I love it. So let's go ahead and get started. And as we go, feel free to type it in the chat. Let me pull this up. I'm not sure how to pull the chat up. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Yay! Let's play. Exactly. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, let's get started. Can you guys hear the music? Woo! So round one, just type it in the chat and I'm gonna read the questions. Yes, Cash Cab is awesome. So first, what are the most commonly used drugs among college populations? And just type in the chat and I'll answer as we go. Yeah, definitely alcohol. It's still a drug. It's really important. A lot of people forget about that when they're considering alcohol. Yep, marijuana. As they said, it's one of the most common drugs. 1/3 of college students use it once per year, which is a lot of people. Wow, you guys are hitting the nail on the head. Yes, Adderall and prescription pills as a whole. Adderall is a stimulant used to increase focus. A lot of college students use it, but it creates side effects like insomnia and headaches. Any other ideas on the last two most common drugs? Yes, cocaine. Cocaine is a big one. And hallucinogens, you hit it. LSD and other PCP are really big. That includes magic mushrooms, all the trippy stuff that people like to use. Wow, good job, guys. You guys did that amazing. Magic shrooms, what? Woo! But it's important, it's important to be aware and understand these different types of drugs. So let's move on to round two. Start the music again. Round two. What measures can be taken to prevent excessive alcohol use? Let's see. So we talked a little bit about these in the slides. So answer what you think could be done to help. Anybody have any answers? Yeah, talk to a friend. So making a plan before going in and before drinking, make sure to understand and have a plan and safe drivers and all of that good stuff. And so what are some other ways that you guys can get involved and drink safer? Yeah, so keeping limits and drinking water in between. That's all about alternating drinks. So for every alcoholic drink, maybe make sure to drink a non-alcoholic drink as well. Water, Gatorade, get the electrolytes, and all of that stuff. Let's play the music again. It was a bop. Yeah, eat beforehand, definitely. So eating before you drink is a really important thing. It lets the alcohol be absorbed easier and it's just better. Nobody likes to get drunk on an empty stomach. You can get really sick. So any other for the last two? Yes, developing ulcers is also an issue when drinking without eating. So I'm gonna go ahead and the last two, drinking slower. So just taking your time, and that goes along with being understanding of the alcohol percentages in drinks. So drinking slower and being understanding, setting limits, all of that. And lastly, exactly what you're doing now, educating yourself, understanding how to make plans, the alcohol percentages, what are the common drugs, and how you can safely and comfortably use. Yes, and that is it. That's the game. Thank you everyone for participating, and now we're gonna move on.
Thank you, Keegan, for that. Love that. Did everybody love Family Feud? That was awesome. The music makes a big difference too. Yes, us too, Victoria. Hopefully you learned. I forgot to make this comment at the beginning, but I'm going to make it now. We're not here to tell you drugs are terrible, or if you're doing drugs, it's terrible, or you're a bad person if you decide to go out and enjoy a drink with your friends today. We're here to just share and educate on facts, on ways that you can make better decisions for yourself and for your friends and for those around you, and how to safely but still safely enjoy this holiday and still have fun, which can come in many, many different forms. And that's pretty much what we're here to do, right? So no judgment ever, especially from all of us. We're here to just tell you, hey, like, this is what the data is showing, these are the facts, and now and you go make the decision that you feel is best for you. And if you need help, you know where to come back to, because that's where we're going to be, right? So that's what this is about. All right, let's go ahead and move on with our events. So now we're going to have Panthers for Recovery talking about how the pandemic has impacted alcohol and substance use and also ways to cope.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tommy, and I am the founder of Panthers for Recovery, also a person in long-term recovery. And we're here to share a little bit about how to cope in times like these. A lot of us have developed some bad coping habits, and we're hoping to educate you guys a little bit about this. And there's no judgment here. I know that Keegan mentioned some things on how to better moderate. If you find yourself having issues and trying to do all those and still, passing the limits and passing the boundaries that you set for yourself, we can definitely help out with that. And if you could go to the next slide. All right. So, I mean, this has been a difficult time for all of us. And so some of the results of COVID and the pandemic, people are getting unemployed. People that still have their jobs are working from home. Schooling is from home. Everything's from home. And whether you're at home isolated by yourself or you're at home stuck with family that you need some time away from, it's very difficult. We're having to manage a lot of changes. There's a lot of people that are spending lots of time working the front lines, and we're dealing with a lot of loss, whether it's, family members or friends, or a loss of, human connection with other people. It's been having a huge impact on all of us. And so the result of this is, if you could get to the next slide, Selena. So, some of the things that are happening as a result are we weren't prepared really for this, and for the isolation, for the boredom, and for the lack of support. And whether you're in recovery or you're not in recovery, it's affecting us all. For those of us that have been in recovery, the relapse rates have gone up. For those of us that are not, they're turning to alcohol to cope as well. Alcohol sales are up 35% as a result of this in pretty much every single state. Also, drugs being used at a higher rate, particularly opiates. The overdose rate is up in every state as well. It's up 20% overall, and 81,000 people have lost their lives to overdose death, which is the highest amount ever recorded. And there was actually a downward direction for overdose deaths, but prior to COVID, but COVID kind of changed that entirely, and it's up to a new record. And so these are some of the things that are happening, whether you're in recovery or not. A lot of people are turning to alcohol and drugs to cope with. But there are healthier methods to cope with, and Anthony's going to jump in a little bit on that.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Anthony, again. Um, I was excited to hear that Keegan had mentioned a few, about 4 ways that are included here that are um, needed to accompany a moderated attempt at drinking. or use of certain substances. Without these kinds of tools, it would find anybody to be challenged enough not to be able to do moderate or even abstain. And so I think that in particular, I could speak from my experience that I bought a guitar last summer. I used to play guitar as a kid, but as I got older, you know, a lot of work involved and stuff. When the pandemic hit, I got myself a guitar and, you know, been practicing warming up. And I know that I can't get better at guitar, which would be the only fun way to play guitar. I mean, you know, with all the time I had at home with, you know, mostly on Zoom classes, that if I were to drink, I wouldn't be practicing. You know, I wouldn't practice. I wouldn't get good again. I wouldn't be able to record in my iPhone all these new little songs and stuff. So that's what I had to do, and I'm glad I made that decision. And connecting with family and friends, P4R always had these meetings online on every Friday, and amongst other meetings that I frequent and see uh, familiar faces in. And I think the gym thing with exercising was a little difficult first. When things relaxed a little bit, I ended up going to a gym cautiously, and it was great. Not that I'm able to maintain it very well, but it really makes a difference when I do set my mind to it. And amongst other things, and everybody's different. You know, everybody has different kinds of healthy ways of coping. And yeah, so what's the next slide? There we go. Well, Sarah, I think go ahead and be able to let us in on this.
That's me. Thank you, Anthony. Again, my name is Sarah. I'm the Vice President of Panthers for Recovery. I'm a person in long-term recovery myself, and I'd like to talk to you guys about some support groups. So if you find yourself during COVID struggling, I mean, all of us are struggling. It's a very difficult time. If maybe you said, well, you know, I've been drinking more and I'm trying to stop, or maybe I'm using illicit drugs, I'm falling into depression. You know, isolation is very tough. Again, you've seen the numbers we've provided. It's a fact that a lot of people are using unhealthy coping methods. So if you fall into that category, we'd like to provide a support group to help you out. So Panthers for Recovery is obviously a support group affiliated with FIU. Tommy started the program. We provide meetings, new meetings Wednesday, 7:30. It's Alcoholics Anonymous speaker meeting. Friday, 7:30 p.m. Those are hybrid meetings. So you can even come on campus. And afterwards, we usually go to, I believe it's normally every week, IHOP. So we can hang out in a sober, healthy way. Afterwards, we also introduced a new meeting this semester, Sex Addicts Anonymous at 8:30 p.m. And Tommy just put in our site. If you would like to get, again, more information on the Zoom meetings, you can enter your email too, and we'll put you on the list, send you email updates about our program. We are obviously student run. Anthony there is our treasurer, Tommy the founder, and myself the vice president. We'd be happy to support you. We also have a couple different meetings as well. We have something called Miami Recovery Project, and I know you're looking at this and saying, oh, this is Alcoholics Anonymous, but maybe I'm having a lot of anxiety, or maybe I just don't have these feelings of wanting to do anything, or I'm afraid to go out. Miami Recovery Project is something for all, it's an all recovery meeting. So you can come in and just say, hey, you know, I'm lonely, I just need somebody to talk to. Maybe this is a symptom of depression and I'm too embarrassed to talk to other people. I don't want to tell my family about it. So I don't want to talk to my friends. We are anonymous too. So you can open up, and what we talk about in the meeting, what you can explore, maybe issues with eating, you know, we could talk about anything. We're there for you. So also, Tommy also put the Miami Recovery Project meetings. That's also Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, 6 p.m. And those are via Zoom currently as well. So our next slide, please.
All right, we got activity. I think we're gonna do a poll now, right?
Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and launch a poll. This is anonymous, all right? And again, this is a safe space. We're not judging you. So you are good, especially the majority of us here are not. So take a moment, answer this. We're a very small group. How much alcohol are you currently drinking per week? All right. Okay, so we have all 9 out of 9 that have voted. Awesome. And we do have differences here. So does everybody see the results? So we have a third, right? 3 out of the 9 that don't drink at all during the week. And then we have in between 1 to 2 drinks. And then we have someone that drinks more than 5 per week, right? So again, we're not here to make any judgment or shun anybody for, you know, the things that you do. We are here to educate you and provide you with the necessary things that will help you make the decision that's best for you in alignment with your goals as an individual, with your goals as a student, and with what you would like out of your college and life experience as well, right? So we're also going to do a quick activity to talk about different ways that we can cope or different things that we could do to kind of do something different than maybe drink or use drugs, especially when we're kind of stressed out or going through a pandemic or overwhelmed. It's going to be a little quick word cloud. So get ready to go to menti.com. Let me pull it up here and you're going to enter this pin. All right. All right, menti.com. The pin is 7290-3626. And 1 to 3 ways that you currently cope, healthier ways that you are currently coping or that you have used in the past, maybe that you want to reconnect to. And we do this activity so we can learn from one another, right? So, you know, like when Anthony was talking about playing the guitar, I have wanted to learn how to play the piano. I used to play when I was little too. And I know that that'd be a healthy outlet for me. It's a matter, of course, going through that process, but I was able to tap back into that goal and that coping mechanism by Anthony talking about his own experience. And that's exactly the intention with this activity and this word cloud is for all of us to share different ways that we cope so we can learn and maybe think like, you know what? Yeah, you know, maybe I could meditate a little bit more, you know? So we have some good ones. Single, I'm not sure what that entails, but feel free to elaborate, whoever put it, if you're not shy. You're welcome to unmute yourself and talk that out. Public citizen, I'm not sure really what that means either. Anthony?
I think the single would refer to that the person feels that a lot of difficulties arose from being single and the dating world, and so drinking would be a result of it instead of, you know, now they mean a new mindset to be able to tackle something like that and do it successfully, and drinking would only be hindrance.
I see. Thank you. Yes. Now I understand. Thank you. So these are all good. Different hobbies, working out. Again, that can look different for everybody. You don't need to commit to like this crazy intense triathlon, right? Or even 30-minute workout. It could be yoga session. It could be Zumba, right? The rec center is still doing virtual Zumba. So you can have fun, you can dance, you can listen to music, and it's still a workout and you're still creating those endorphins. I'll give it a minute or two. And since we are a small group of us, I encourage anybody that wants to take a moment to unmute themselves and either talk about some of the healthier ways that you're currently coping or that you have coped in the past year. And that's it. So if anybody wants to share, this is a good time.
I don't have any coping mechanism right now, but I did forget that I wanted to mention that Panthers for Recovery has a Narcan training coming up on March 26th, and then another one in April 23rd, I believe. They're both online. If you participate, you will get Narcan sent out to you, or you can pick it up at FIU. I'm going to put the information in the chat. I know Nicholas will elaborate some more on Narcan in a little bit, so you could ask questions after that as well.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Tommy, for sharing that. If you're not familiar with Narcan, Nick will go over that in the next topic that we discuss when it comes to safely using drugs and harm reduction and all of that, which will be momentarily. On the topic of Panthers for Recovery, you know, and just in general, especially based on the poll results that we saw, if, you know, you don't think drinking, or maybe you don't use drugs at all, or maybe you tried it and you decided it's not for you, so you don't foresee yourself to ever have a problem in any way, take this information and store it somewhere and keep it with yourself, where you can then share it with someone, right? This goes beyond us. Maybe we don't necessarily need this information, or it doesn't apply to us where we're at. Maybe it will in the future, you never know, but it could definitely benefit somebody around you, even if it's a classmate, even if it's a family member, and just be the person to be able to share that wealth of knowledge with others, which can eventually help them and connect them to the resources that they need, right? So again, Panthers for Recovery is a student org. So if you are passionate or would want to get involved and volunteer and be part of this student club, that's also an opportunity as well. They could definitely use the help and would want the help. And this is something that is very impactful and very meaningful, especially in our community, right? And especially during this time. And as we continue back to normalcy, we're going to start seeing what Tommy went over in regards to how the pandemic has impacted alcohol and substance use. We're going to see it in person. We're going to see it in behaviors of our friends, our classmates, our, you know, different people that we'll be able to really now come in contact with. So the opportunity is there to also sign up and be part of the club. And it's a great way to get involved and connect with other people and do good things, right? And do
For sure.
meaningful
If I
things.
could share real quick, a lot of times the person that's going to reach out for help is not reaching out to a professional. It's not to it's going to be a friend. And so to know these resources and have them at hand, very important, because that window of opportunity to help that person is very small. And so you want to be able to say, hey, look, I know exactly where to go. I have this meeting, or I know where, you know, I could walk you to CAPS. I could walk you to Healthy Living. I could show you to with Panthers for Recovery, and it goes a long way. So maybe not for yourself, but for others, definitely being a college student is going to be very necessary.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Tommy. Window opportunity is very small for any behavior change, right? We know this, especially if you come to our events, you know that we're all about behavior change. Nick, are you ready?
I am. So my name is Nick again, guys. Very nice to meet everybody. I'm so glad you guys were able to make it to this meeting, and educate yourselves on protecting yourselves and protecting the people around you with knowledge. Like Tommy was just saying, you know, time can be of the essence for these people. And although we're not talking about mental illness, we could say that, you know, drugs and alcohol can accelerate mental illnesses and cause more problems than what are currently going on right now. So harm reduction, it's really important because we want to value life choices and respect people. It's important to have compassion for people. If we're constantly judging, stigmatizing, discriminating, and punishing people for their actions, we're not able to get a connection from them. We're already closing the door on them. So it's important to give people a chance, give them an opportunity. And a lot of times it helps to have an experience in that. But if you've never experienced, you know, going through these troubles of taking too much drugs or too much alcohol, it's tough to come without judgment to somebody. So let's get started. You can get the next page, please. So what is harm reduction? So harm reduction is a set of policies and practices intended to reduce the negative effects of alcohol and drug use. So when we start drinking and when we start taking drugs, our initial intentions are to have a good time. We don't intend to have the negative effects, even though we all know negative effects can happen. So we should come with a plan, like has been preached by other speakers already. We need a plan. So the idea behind harm reduction is not necessarily eliminate substance abuse, but rather diminish its harmful effects. We can't get rid of everything. We can't get rid of all drugs and alcohol, but we can be smart in our ways of partying and getting together and socializing with friends. We can have extremes of abstinence or heavy drinking. All we ask is that you get to a place where it's safe and you get home safely as well. And that's ultimately the goal. Next page. So how does harm reduction help? It's a great question. How does harm reduction help? Well, it increases referrals to support programs and health and social services, just like Panthers for Recovery and Healthy Living program here at FIU. It gives people resources that are free and available at any time, judgment-free. As we're saying in the next dot, it says reduce stigma and increase access to the health services. We want to reduce stigma. We want it to be open in the light so that everyone can see what it's all about. We need people like Tommy and Anthony and Sarah who can admit to having issues in the past and being able to overcome that so that people can visualize their future moving forward, that there is light at the end of the tunnel in whatever situation they may be in. Reduce sharing of substance use equipment. There are drugs that can be used with that can be shared amongst people. For instance, injection with injections, for instance, and that will help reduce hepatitis and HIV transmission because there is blood in syringes, and if your blood is infected with hepatitis or HIV virus, you could pass that on to people, and it's going to be a lot quicker than sexual contact. Additionally, we have to reduce overdose deaths and other early deaths among people who use substances, including alcohol. So as Tommy was mentioning, and I'll get into more detail, we need things like Narcan and also other mitigations, like there it is right there, other mitigation strategies to help reduce this, because as a former scribe in the emergency room, I've seen one too many overdoses, and Narcan has had to be used. So I mean, if it's good for the emergency room, it should be good for you, especially if you are at the taking these risky behaviors. Additionally, we have to increase knowledge around safer substance abuse. So if you know you're taking a certain substance, I mean, Google's at your fingertips. All you need to do is look into what will make it safer to use this substance, right? And increasing knowledge around safer sex and sexual health and increased condom use. That goes hand in hand with drug use and partying. I mean, a lot of these social events, they come together. It's multifaceted. So the drugs and alcohol will lead to sexual behavior and connections. Next slide, please. So what are some tips for reducing harm? First of all, you can buy less. If you buy less, you're more likely to use less. If for some reason you get a better deal for more drugs, just take a couple, pills or whatever you do and take that with you to the party or to the event and leave the rest at home so that you can mitigate the chances of you using more than you expected to use. Secondly, set a time limit. I'm going to stop using drugs at this time, or I'm going to leave the party or the event at this time, so that you know what's the plan, because things can get fuzzy along the way, and if we don't stick to the plan, that's where things can twirl out of control. So additionally, as was said earlier, eat before. You want to eat some food before, have some food in your system to help mitigate any heavy reactions from taking drugs. First of all, I would avoid snacking on like salty foods. Salty foods are normally used in bars to attract people to drink more. So I would, stay away from anything salty, like, potato chips or nuts or things like that. Drinking water. I mean, drinking water will help dilute the alcohol. It will help move alcohol out of the system, and it just leads to a little more balance as you go drinking throughout the night. You get the balance of more water in your system, so that you're not too far gone. Next, you want to lower your dosage and frequency. So I guess that goes hand in hand with the buy less, but again, you can bring all that you planned on taking to the party and maybe do it in moderation, or you can do it all at once, which may be dangerous depending on what you're doing. So you want to be smart in the dosage and the frequency of your drug and alcohol intake. Next, you want to choose the least harmful method to use. Like I was saying, maybe you want to snort it or smoke it over using a syringe, for instance, because the syringe has a lot of risk at passing off components of blood that may be dangerous. And next, I would say that you want to plan out some drug-free days. So, maybe have a day where you can just go out and not have to worry about drugs and just have your mind set on other things that'll distract you and keep your brain occupied away from the drugs, so you can have a day without it. Next slide, please. Okay, so some things worth knowing. As we've mentioned a couple times, Narcan or Naxolone, that is the medication designed to counteract the depression of the central nervous system and respiratory system of various opioid overdoses. It's a non-addictive prescription medication and only has an effect if opioids are present in one system. So normally these overdoses, if people lose consciousness, someone can spray Narcan into their nose, and that's able to give their body this reaction where they gain consciousness again. And then you can inject Narcan into your muscle, your veins, or use intranasally. Like you can see the example there. That's an intranasal spray, and it's pre-filled. It's needle-free, and it doesn't require any assembly. It's sprayed into the nostril one time while the patient is lying on their back. So, and just spray it once into the nostril. Another thing I want to talk about is medical amnesty policy. Now, what is medical amnesty policy, and why am I mentioning it right now? Well, under medical amnesty policy, students are potentially exempt from punitive action if they call for medical assistance, which can help save lives by eliminating anxiety about potential penalty for consuming alcohol and drugs. So illegal drugs, people are scared if they go into a situation where they need medical assistance. They don't want to go and admit that they use drugs or alcohol, especially if it's illegally done. So there's this policy in place to make it less a stigma and more about just coming forward and getting the help that you need rather than worrying about the penalties concerning that behavior. And you have another thing, instead of a harsh penalty for underage drinking, a student usually receives some sort of counseling by a professional following an incident and to provide suggestions on how to stay safe in the future. And to go with this medical amnesty policy, I want to mention the Good Samaritan policy, and this exempts punishment from an intoxicated underage student who calls for emergency assistance for another student who is dangerously intoxicated. And this happens at colleges, and state federal government can implement these policies. So it helps the person that's in danger that they can get their medical attention without worrying about the possible consequences of using drugs or alcohol illegally. Next slide, please. All right, so it's activity time, y'all. Y'all ready? Okay. So I'll give you a couple questions, and I'm gonna give you a blank question. So I need whoever to fill in the blank. So you can fill it out. You can say it out loud, the blank, or you can write it in the chat. Okay. So the first question is gonna be, Blank, a drug carries more risk than smoking, snorting, or swallowing it. Blank, a drug carries more risk than smoking, snorting, or swallowing it. IV, yes. Injections, intravenous. So that is definitely more dangerous than having to snort, smoke, or swallow the drug. Okay, awesome. Good job, Anthony. Next, beware of using in new environments or with new people. This can change how you experience the effects and blank the risk of overdose. So I'm going to say it again. Beware of using in new environments or with new people. This can change how you experience the effects and blank the risk of overdose.
All right, everyone, everyone's still here, right? We're a very small group. I can start maybe calling some people out, but please make sure that you are engaging to the best of your ability. That is also a way that we retain the information that we're learning and that we're later able to apply it, right? So we're gonna read this one out one more time, Nick, and let's see if there's anybody else that adds what they think the blank is in the chat.
Okay, so the question is, beware of using in new environments or with new people. This can change how you experience the effects and blank the risk of overdose. Increase. Alina, Sarah got it. Awesome. Yes, it increases the risk of overdose if you are doing drugs or using alcohol in new places and new people, because we don't know who they are and what's going on. So, all right, awesome. Assign a blank. It's 2 words. Assign a blank. Be responsible and always have a plan set in place when consuming alcohol. Now, I didn't really talk about this, but it's something that you should, it's like getting a ride home. Designated buddy, yes, that's good. Yes, designated buddy, designated driver. Designated buddy is probably better just because they go beyond the call of driving. They're there all night with you. Hopefully not as a babysitter, but anyways, let's go to the next one. Good job, guys. Alina.
Wait,
Victoria,
you mean that's not the person that's supposed to hold your hair up?
Oh no, yeah, that's the person. The unsung hero. Yes, that's the one. Yep. So yep. Okay, next question. Keep blank on hand. It is a medication used to counter effects of opioid overdose. Keep blank on hand. It is a medication used to counter effects of opioid overdose. Anybody got any? Tommy, take your screen. Anybody remember? Yes, Narcan, Suboxone. Very good. Yes,
Is it
this is what you.
Suboxone? Is it pronounced Suboxone?
No, Tommy, you're gonna elaborate?
Yeah, it's Narcan or naloxone.
Naloxone, yeah.
I got this one too. And I got this one. All the same thing in different forms.
Yep. So you don't only have to nasally spray it. As you showed, Tommy was showing it could be in different forms. And so last question I'll ask: never be afraid to seek medical attention, even if you are under the influence. The blank protects individuals under these circumstances. Never be afraid to seek medical attention if you are under the influence. The blank, blank, blank protects individuals under these circumstances. It's a policy, I'll give you that. What type of policy is this?
It's something that you just went over to. And no, Alina, it is not Panthers protecting Panthers. That's for COVID. That was a nice try. Not FIU's medical policy either. I'm not sure there is one or just one.
Medical amnesty policy. Very good. Yep. That's it. So yes, the medical amnesty policy is policies put in place to protect those that become intoxicated when they are legally taking drugs or alcohol. And that'll help them get the medical attention that they need without the repercussions of, say, jail, but they may be forced to get counseling and some additional help that will help them personally on a personal basis. So
Right. So in that case, it's like you go out to a party, maybe for St. Patrick's Day, right? You both start using some stuff. Your friend maybe goes into an OD, and it's okay to get help and call the cops and not be afraid that you're going to get in trouble because you have consumed that same substance. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. Yes.
All right. So thank you, Nick, for that. Let's go ahead and wrap up. Here are some resources. I mean, you've met some already. That was part of having other people come on and share about this topic, so you can get to meet faces that can help you as well, and other resources on campus. We have the counseling and psychological services, CAPS. There's their info. You have HLP that can help you more on the prevention piece. We also do consultations for substance use, and there will be more of that in the future as well. There's Panthers Care, which helps students in any type of distress, right? You can also refer students that you feel could benefit and use a little bit of support anonymously, I believe. You can always just Google FIU Panthers Care and go to their website and read more about that. And then, as you've met several members from Panthers for Recovery, and there you have their Instagram and social media channel info and their website. And Tommy has shared a lot of links or information in the chat on how to get to know more about Panthers for Recovery or becoming involved. And if what you learned today interested you, you're always welcome to sign up to participate in the club as well and attend the training, right? Again, maybe this is just information that's good to have, to be able to help more people whenever you can. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We appreciate you so very much, especially for spending some time with us on St. Patrick's Day. Here is our HLP Perks flyer. This will show you the other opportunities you have to participate to qualify for our Perks program for the month of March. And here you have the link. So please take a moment, visit the link. I'm going to put it into the chat. Thanks, Charles, for coming on and spending time with us. And take a moment to share about what you thought. This is usually one of those topics that there's that stigma, right? The same way when it comes to sexual health sometimes. So we try to hype it up and do it differently. But we want to hear from you what you thought about the event. Did it make sense to put it on St. Patrick's Day? Should we repeat it again next year? What could we have done differently? All of that is for us to use moving forward so we can better serve you, as you are our focus, your well-being, your happiness, your college experience, all of that. It's part of what we are doing here, is to be able to help you guys out during your college experience and for you to enjoy your college experience. So take a moment, complete that honestly, and thank you to all of our speakers and our partners for today's event. It was so awesome to have all of you here, and I think the students really enjoyed that. If any of you want to say a few words before we wrap up in the next couple of minutes, you can.
Thanks for having us. I had a great time, and please reach out if you have any questions or looking for some information. Go.fiu.edu/P4R. And please share this information with anybody that you feel can benefit. Narcan training is March 26th. You sign up and you'll get this free of cost. We'll send it out to you.
Yeah, I just want to say happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone, and that everyone has a safe and fun night. I also recommend following HLP and Panthers for Recovery. They seem like great groups, and I think you get a lot of great resources from them. Even if you're not using drugs or alcohol, you may know somebody and you can make a difference in your community. So I think it's important to pass the word on to others and keep the great work that they're doing alive. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful St. Patrick's Day, and please be safe. Alina, Sydney, thanks for joining us. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. Thank you for your time and the resources. Yes.
See ya.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.